Everywhere we go, people wanna know who we are. So we tell them, beyond the barracks, mighty battle sisters.
Hi everybody, good afternoon, good February 2024. Welcome to our Battle Sisters podcast. I am Nicole Romero, U.S. Navy veteran.
Hello, everybody. I'm Ashley Swanson, U.S. Navy veteran.
Hi, everybody, and I'm Linda Cater, United States Marine Corps veteran.
That's right. We're so happy to be back. We had taken a small little break for a while, and, we had to regroup, and some personal issues came up within our families over the holidays, so we're back and we're in full effect.
And our community meeting.
And we've been our first community meeting. For those of you ladies that were in attendance,
thank you for the food and thank you for joining us.
It was an extraordinary. We had vision boards, extraordinary change of life. A speech by Christina Chacon. It was just a very, very awesome, successful first community event.
Yes.
And with that being said, we're going to have a second Battle Sisters community event this month on the 24th.
February 24th. We're right around the corner.
Same location.
Same time.
We'll be putting it out on Facebook, on our Facebook page. And, well, it's actually already there. So
yes, but we'll remind you this weekend.
Exactly. So please come join us. We would love to see more, if not more, of you beautiful people to come out and join us, because we're going to also have another beautiful change of life speaker.
Yes.
And she, from what I know of her personally, she is an extraordinary female veteran that has an extraordinary story to tell.
Yes.
So we're really excited that the Battle Sisters Coalition is really moving forward in this new year. And it's actually moving forward in a positive direction. We grew from such a small little itty-bitty coalition, and it's just slowly but surely, budding into all these beautiful little flowers.
Yes.
And little...
Just like the spring.
Exactly. New members, even the family members that came out to support and are coming out to support.
Yes.
We love them. We welcome them. And we just encourage more and more of that. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and kick off our February podcast 2024 with the theme on, we're going to go into, it's a very sensitive subject.
Yes.
However, I do feel, and I know my ladies here feel, that it's a very important subject to get into. And it's actually so important that the United States made it into a national February recognition type of subject awareness.
Awareness, yes.
And it's on stalking.
So it's very important. So stalking is a public health problem that affects millions of people in the United States. Stalking involves a perpetrator's use of a pattern of harassing or threatening tactics that are both unwanted and cause fear or safety concerns in a victim. How big is the problem? According to the National Intimate Partner and Sexual Violence Survey, about 1 in 3 women and 1 in 6 have been stalked at some point in their lives. So while most women and men first experience being stalked as adults, approximately 24% of female victims and 19% of male victims reported being stalked as minors.
Wow.
Nearly 58% of female victims and 49% of male victims experienced stalking before the age of 25.
Imagine if that number grows too as you get older. I don't know.
So I'm thinking like college age.
And these numbers are coming from what's been reported.
Exactly.
How many times have you experienced something and you're not quite sure, should I tell somebody?
Yeah.
Yeah,
am I making a big deal about
it?
Or you're scared to death anyways to say anything because it's going to get worse.
Or so, you feel like just like with domestic violence, like, well, do I have enough evidence? And we're going to
Yes.
get into all of that. We're going
Yes.
to get into, well, not all of it because there's a ton of info out there, but we're going to get into some of the meat and potatoes of that.
And answer some of those questions.
Exactly. So what is a stalker? What is a stalker? A stalker, this is actually what I have researched. A lot of perpetrators are socially withdrawn people. So they're usually in their 30s is the average age group. Stalkers are usually unemployed or underemployed, which underemployed would mean what? That they can't keep a job.
Or low income.
Or low income. Some that right there, they have too much time on their hands. They haven't, enough time to do what they need to do to stalk the victim. But it will also go into the subject of employment stalking, because that is a big time deal with on the job stalkers too.
Sexual harassment.
Yeah, because when we're working full time, it's like a second home.
Exactly, and you're with those people.
Yes.
Like
your extended family.
Right. Some stalkers may have mood disorders, which is understandable. Some stalkers may have personality disorders as well. So sounds like there's a big variety of mental health
Yes.
playing behind what a perpetrator could potentially become a stalker. Somebody that's has mental health issues. But, I know that like on Netflix, me and Linda actually were talking about
The show.
Have
Yes.
you seen it? It's called
Stalker.
I Am a Stalker.
And then there's also Stalker or something Stalker Killer.
I think I seen
But
yeah. About you have to see that.
dating
Oh, yeah.
something or
So
stalker.
it was about a guy that dated a
Two
girl
girls.
online. Yes.
And-
We can't say it.
We can't
because
give it
we'll
away.
totally give it away. But yes, she was a lover, then she was a stalker, then she was a killer.
Wow.
And that's
What's
another
that?
thing.
So
I
she
am a stalker.
escalated.
Oh, and this
like
is
in
all
a
true.
weird way. Very weird way.
So on Netflix, I'm gonna put it to you out there right here because I know about this one for sure. Me and Linda, I had turned Linda onto this, and you should look
It's
at
a
it too.
whole show season.
Yes, it's like episodes.
It's like eight
different.
episodes.
Yes, and
Yes.
they're interviewing all these
So
different
so each episode is a different individual.
with
their-
different like cases. And,
Beware
Yes.
of nightmares.
Yes.
After.
and I think
Yes, be triggered. I was definitely triggered.
I was too, because I think what triggered me the most about that documentary was because it was the actual stalker that they were interviewing from prison.
Yeah.
Okay, and so that was tripping me out because I got to see firsthand what was going through in their mind.
Yes.
And but it's such a great information, especially because I knew we were going to do this podcast, and so I was like, let me educate myself a little bit more so I know kind of like what I'm talking about, or I can kind of get a visual of what's on the paper from what
Right.
I've researched.
Right.
So I can understand, But check it out, guys. It's on Netflix. It's called I Am a Stalker. So, anyways, we want to talk about some of the characteristics of stalkers. And these are just, general characteristics, but, they say that jealousy is a big one. Being a narcissist, being somebody that's compulsive, somebody that falls instantly in love. Oh, Lord.
Help us.
That instantly in love
I think
one
I'm on
always
the
just to
other-
bite me in the butt.
Big red flag.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
If you just start dating and all of a sudden they're just
Exactly. But,
head over heels.
Yes, like wow, pump your brakes.
Of course it's great in the honeymoon.
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about like looking for those little red flags too, though.
Yes.
There's a lot of little red flags to look for in that, and I don't necessarily think that this is to scare anybody off from having love interests or anything, but it's just so important to
be able to identify.
Yes, please.
Yes.
So that they're manipulative. They don't like to take responsibility for their own feelings or actions.
Yes.
Their needs to have control. That's the big one in that documentary. They needed to feel like they were in control of everything, all your moves, all your whereabouts, all your action, where you were at. I mean, what you wore, how you looked, who you hung around with, stuff that's very deep like that. So being jealous, having a jealous mate is a little different. It differentiates than stalker mode, because this is that we're talking like intensive jealousy,
Dangerous.
intensive controlling, intensive
Yes.
situation. So socially awkward or
And
uncomfortable.
it's when the individual is trying to pull away is where it really stands out, and where because it's more dangerous.
Yeah, because then the perpetrator, it seemed like, got more aggressive, and it didn't matter. The victim, no matter how nice they were about it, like trying to pull away, trying to say, hey, it's not working out.
Right.
It was like no matter how sensitive they were trying to let that person down or off, the relationship hook, or trying to walk away, it just fueled the fire. And that's like that's what we're talking about here. And I'm just so glad we're putting this information out for those ladies and those men, the 1 in 6, because Ashley, you said it was a 1 in 3 of females and then a 1 in 6 of men that can get stalked. Is that what you not said?
Oh, she hasn't read
Oh,
it.
not yet.
Read it.
Oh, no,
Hold
you
on, wait.
said it. You
Yeah.
said it. You said
1 in
it.
6 men she has, and 1 in
Yes.
3 female.
1 in 3 females.
Yes,
Yes, that's
yes.
okay. So, and because I like to look at that number. So I like to look at that number because
Males are just as susceptible to
Exactly.
stalking as females.
I mean, it might not, the number might not be, I think the numbers are huge in the military when it comes to men. I knew a lot of female active duties that used to stalk, like, I mean, and
I mean, it depends too. Are you
Ashley's
talking
gonna
about
go
like stalking social media?
no, you know what though, Chew? That's a good point, because with that being said, Linda, I was in military active duty from 1990 to 1998, and we didn't have the social media platforms then.
Right, that's
I
true.
can only imagine now. I can only imagine how worse it can get and has gotten with stalking. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true.
So I think it's very important to pay attention to those numbers, 1 in 3, 1 in 6, because it's just a visual of what's actually going on out there in the world. So yeah. So the last stalker trait that I kind of got spoken over was, and it's very important, was they're socially awkward or uncomfortable. Like if you take them to a party, you take them around your family, a family gathering, you take them, that they're very withdrawn. They don't, they don't like to intercede in other people's conversations, a social gathering. They don't want to go to dinners with you and your friends, like, hey, or, let's go as a couple. No, that's, to me, would sound a little creepy anyways, for me.
Don't
because,
you want to spend time with me?
right, I'm a very social person anyways, though, as well. But you just got to, really watch for little traits like what I had just communicated on. And I know it all sounds like it runs together, but this is just so important to me, being a female single person as well, a female mom.
Yes.
When you have little ones at home, or children, period, at home, it could get pretty scary. So yeah. Mm-hmm. But if you wanted to, I could go into stalking tactics after we discuss. Ashley's going to go ahead and give you guys some very, very important statistics.
Okay, do I say who we got it from?
Yeah, right here, yeah.
Okay, so statistics from December 19th, 2019 on militarytimes.com, they published an article written by John Simpkins titled "Nearly 60% of Women Experience stalking in the ranks. So basically, this is stalking that's happening while people are on active duty.
That's
Yes.
60%. That's more than half.
Yes.
Wow.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, it's analyzed
And
responses.
that's women.
Women.
Exactly.
This particular article was in regards to 60% of women.
1,733 veterans were studied in an effort to understand the rate of stalking and the impact it has on your mental health, which I can imagine what this is going to come out with. Trauma, right? Additional trauma. Okay,
Yeah.
the Uniform Code of Military Justice, UCMJ, added stalking as a separate article and defined it as repeated maintenance of visual or physical proximity to a specific person, repeated conveyance of verbal threat, written threats, threats implied by conduct or combination of such threats directed at or toward a person, or a pattern of conduct composed of repeated acts evidencing a continuity of purpose.
So, boom. Bottom line, that's how bad it's gotten. UCMJ, the actual U.S. military, had to come up with a total new freaking charge to add, to implement, because that is how bad it has gotten and how dangerous and it's so scary just to think, because when I was in, they didn't have that. They didn't have that code.
Right.
But what she said is, bottom line is, this is like a total person that's just totally not leaving you alone. I mean, they're just going for brokes. They're going to your dorm room, your barracks room. They're
not
messing
respecting
with you.
your space.
Nothing.
They're not,
emails, phone calls, text messages. Showing up at places where they're not even supposed to be at where you're at, passing by your parents' house while you're there, your best friend's house, your job. They even were talking about like leaving notes, leaving unwanted gifts at your door. I mean,
obsession.
Just total.
Yes.
Yeah. So any little thing. Even if you ignore them, that documentary, I'm telling you, it had a lot of information on Netflix. It had these victims, they were ignoring these people, and they were logging all this information and going to the cops for years. And I mean, they didn't get caught until after 2-3 years, until they totally were almost physically.
Yes.
And one of them even did get hurt. Children were involved and stuff like that. And like you said on that one, lover, stalker, killer, that one, I'm not even going to go into that one because it would ruin.
Violence.
Yes, it would ruin the story. You have to see it.
Even self-harm.
Right?
Wow.
Yes.
It's just.
It was pretty intense. So if you want to continue, I'm sorry. I just had to throw that out there because it was really big for me.
Okay, nearly 60% of 315 women veterans who were surveyed reported experiencing an incident during military service that fell under the behavioral components of the UCMJ's definition. So the study reported a much higher number than previous studies that analyzed the same topic. These behaviors were most often exhibited in the form of unwanted messages, emails, or phone calls.
Wow.
Oh. Okay, for males on active duty, the reported number was 35%, with the most common manifestation being unannounced or uninvited visits from the offending party.
Okay.
I'm just going to come by and see what you're up to.
Just pop up.
Again, this number is significantly higher than the previous studies. So 35% for males, well, they're victims too.
It's still a percentage.
And face to face. That's a big. That's
even. Let me just pop up.
Yes.
Versus that's the worst.
Versus the phone calls or the emails, that gets annoying. But
I think that would be real creepy because
when it's face to face.
Seeing that person right there, and your friends and family are like, "What's going on?" I'd be like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Over the course of a lifetime, civilian women report stalking at a rate of 8 to 19%, the study found. The number for female veterans jumped to 35. So
wow.
The statistics in the military are much higher than civilian.
Yes.
And that's good that we found. That's why I wanted to touch on that Military Times article, because we're veteran and veteran oriented. With because I'm sure there's much more information out there for, we don't want anybody out there that's a civilian or non-military to think, oh, they don't know what they're talking about, because we're just trying to. I understand that it's probably a huge more problem in the community, regardless if you were in the military. But I wanted to touch on that because we're veterans, and this is a coalition.
So we're not
of
trying to
veterans.
minimize.
That's what I'm trying to get at.
Anybody's
Yes.
experience outside of the military.
Right. So I know my daughter's active duty military, and so this is important to put out there, even if you're not a veteran, because if you're active duty too, because this is good information that you can use. You keep in the back of your brain. Just because you're active duty, you're big Billy bad, you're surrounded on a base that you're top secret clearance. You got all these guards. You got you got all this weaponry around you, and you think that you're protected by Uncle Sam and all of its prospects and everything. No, this can happen. This could be a person on base following you in a car. This could be somebody that's in your own work center.
Right.
This could be a person even that's not even sexually attracted to you, but wants to be like you. That's another kind of
true.
That's another kind of
stalking.
attraction.
Yeah.
A stalking attraction is like, I like that I like the way she talks, or I like the way he looks. I want to be like him, or I just want to be their friend, or can you be my best friend? And then you're like, at first you're like, well, dude, just chill out and give me some space, and then it's kind of turns into stalker mode.
And so when you push back, that's when that behavior becomes dangerous from the stalker. Yes. That's true. And, if we honestly look at the ratio between men and women in the military, just that alone, I think there's a lot less females. But it's been over 20 years since I've been in. But my experience in the Marine Corps is that we were a smaller number, as in females. And so there was always a bigger group of males. And when we had orders to, deploy, even if there was not another female in your MOS, they would pull someone just to make sure that there was two.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow. I don't ever remember that being done with me. But then again, there were a lot of females in the Navy.
I'm like, dang it, why not? No. Because you need a buddy system.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I was always with men, though, in those little confined telecommunication top secret spaces. So I'm not gonna lie. I experienced a few stalking situations, but that was so way back in those days where a good old fashioned butt kicking did the job.
Right.
I'm not gonna lie.
And we were conditioned so much to the point where we understood that came with the territory.
Yeah.
And that was something that
we were taught to think that way.
And we knew we had to defend ourselves, but not to where we actually felt like, oh, I could go and I can report this.
Yeah, no.
Or I see some red flags.
See, and then back then, I'm sure it was just a sexual harassment case. No, I was talking about, actually, I had to get another guy to kick this guy's butt,
I see.
Because I just couldn't do it. And so it was a stalking case. But back then, it was like a sexual harassment right away, because stalking wasn't an issue. It wasn't part of
wasn't identified.
The terminology back then.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. But this guy, I mean, all of this stuff that's on these lists, he did, and I couldn't do nothing about it. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything, because I just got to the point where I didn't understand anymore. There was nothing I could do,
Right.
And then it did get really scary. So because it wasn't talked about back then, I just did what I personally knew how to do from the street. I couldn't get my job involved, she's making a big deal about it, oh, she can't handle this guy liking her, whatever it would be told, that's how it would be misconstrued, to me, because I've actually had even female active duty higher ups tell me, hey, you know what, you shouldn't have been flaunting yourself around him so much. Now he's where he's not. Now you don't want him around, and you can't get rid of him. And it wasn't even.
So basically saying that
Like
it was your
that.
fault to begin with.
It was, yeah. So it wasn't even like that.
Right.
But now I need it. Now it is.
So
I
where's
need
the
your damn help.
accountability? There, that's
Right.
taking the accountability away from.
Catching this guy in the middle of the night on my damn balcony. And so I had to have somebody sleep with me over my apartment. This is like I was a young sailor, like 19, 20. So I'm just so glad that this is up and out in the open now on the UCMJ as well.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So that they can help. It could help kind of get this in control. Yeah. It's really sad. Stalking tactics, like I was saying. Like I was saying before, it could have the unwanted following, watching the victim, unwanted approaching, showing up, like you said, at workplaces, victims' homes, schools, unwanted use of global positioning systems, GPS. That's another one where
Technology.
Yes, those tags.
Tracks you everywhere. Even the Apple tags.
so now you gotta
Yes.
now isn't there, I don't have Apple, but I know a little bit about where if you don't want to get followed, you could turn your location off, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
On your phone?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, you could not. Yeah, there's an option where you don't have to share your location.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Share it with
Wow.
who? Anyone in your family network? Or with the satellite? Right? Because mine's off and on. It's random. I have my days where I will intentionally
Right.
shut it off because I, have the thoughts, intrusive thoughts sometimes.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
it's convenient to share when I want to find, the closest gas station.
Or you want to know where Joseph's
you know.
at.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Where's my son?
Exactly. I know for Matthew, when he gets older, it's going to be a mandatory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take your phone with you.
Exactly. So yeah, leaving strange or potentially threatening items for the victim to find. That's a big one. They were saying that stalkers can leave gifts at somebody's door, and they'll actually they'll knock and knock and knock, and if the victim is not going to open the door, they don't want to open the door, and so they'll just leave the flowers or the candy or the gift at the door, and then they'll act like they left the premise, but really what they'll do is they'll go park down the street and watch.
Yeah.
And if that victim opens the door and just removes the gift,
They'll know.
it could be just to remove it off their porch, to throw it in the trash, to do whatever. In the stalker's mind, oh, they liked it.
Oh,
They
man.
accepted it.
Yeah.
Right?
That means I have a chance. So, yeah. Wow. Tactic.
Wow.
Sneaking into the victim's home or car, doing things to scare the victim, or to let them know that they were even there. Can you imagine coming home or at your job and you came back from lunch and you have something on your desk that was from them,
Right.
or coming home
Right.
from work?
That's
and-
actually repeated trauma each time.
well, there's
And
that
you
layer, that extra
sense
layer, yes, of trauma that that's
Like your
just,
stomach comes up into your throat.
you can't even live a enjoyable, confident, secure, peaceful lifestyle that way.
Mm-hmm.
So this is so serious. I don't know. I just always think to myself, man, if I ever get to that point, so I'm gonna leave the state, or I'm gonna go I shouldn't have to do that.
No, yeah.
Make
Yeah.
them uproot their
Right.
I
life.
should not have to do. You should
Put
not
them
have
on
to do that,
blast
right?
somehow in a safe way. I mean, that's what you would want to do.
So now they can also do, with the technology, they can implant hidden cameras, recorders,
Oh, yeah.
computer softwares to spy on the victim from a distance.
Yes.
So this is just some.
As technology grows, their ability grows too.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So I think you had some information on how it affects an individual and traumatically how.
Yes. Okay. Let's
At
see.
the next page, I
So
think?
yeah, evidence exists that the rate of stalking on active duty doubled, which has been previously recorded. And I think I mentioned that, but the findings result in a push to implement treatment and intervention for victims of stalking during their military service, especially since stalking is an additional layer of trauma experienced by victims of sexual assault. And we know that, right? They're noticing MST is a huge problem in
Yes.
the military,
Military
now.
sexual trauma.
So
That
now-
doesn't the MST stands for.
They're actually starting to acknowledge it. I mean, it's been there.
Yeah.
But they're actually starting to acknowledge it. Well, not starting. I mean, there's been some time, but there was a time where, it was just.
It was just like a sexual harassment type
Yes.
of small thing. What can we do to keep it at the local level of the command and not take it up the chain of command? Right?
And a lack of accountability.
What would they
you know?
say? Well, did you? My petty officers would always say, well, did you let petty officer such and such know that that's the way you felt? I'm like, no, I'm not going to go hit him up. He already's creeping me out by doing what he's doing. Well, no, that's the first step. You need to
Or
go.
why did you dress like that? Or why did you,
Well, maybe, you're just so friendly.
Yeah.
You're always laughing at their jokes. Maybe you shouldn't, hang out in the corner with the guys too much. Well, damn, that's part of my job. That's my work center.
Maybe that other
And maybe
individual should know what boundaries are.
Boundaries.
Boom.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yes. Maybe that's what really needs to be the focus.
So, yeah. Same thing with stalking, I do believe, but it's just that I just think that the victim needs to get a little bit more intense on how to handle and how to go about
Yes.
handling it. Just like a domestic violence
Yes.
situation. That seems like that's how intense it is.
Hot topic.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Good hot topic.
So keep going.
Yes.
Furthermore, the study concluded the Department of Defense should develop PTSD assessments, post-traumatic stress and depression assessments that incorporate experiences of stalking alongside analyzations of combat or other traumatic experiences military personnel could encounter. So
in addition to combat trauma or
they're adding stalking experiences.
yes.
Well, good. It's going to have a heavy impact on
Yes.
the way people feel about themselves because it says depression and the way they're able to function in public. PTSD, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The outcome
definitely.
makes both female and male veterans who experience these incidents significantly more likely to endure post-traumatic stress disorder or depression, whether immediately after the incident or years after leaving the military.
Yep.
Other
So-
people's
so-
actions really affect individuals.
Yes.
So I'm glad that they
Including
acknowledge-
leadership. So you have to be able to trust in your leadership to go and tell them this is what's going on, and for them to acknowledge it and not just shame you. And so by having these discussions more and more, that's where this change can actually, be effective.
And we're going to go into how, like I was saying before, how to get more aggressive, how the victim can get more aggressive on how to counter-react and combat this to stop. This is it. So we're going to go into the last part of this podcast on stalking, on how to, some tips on how to prevent, how to help a friend that's being stalked, or if you're being stalked. These are going to be some tips to maybe keep in mind, to implement in your life. So
do something about it, right?
exactly. And we all three have certain small little tips, and I'm going to go ahead and kick that off. So for me, I always feel like having a safety plan helps. A safety plan helps someone reduce the risk of harm from a stalker or stalking situation. It is an individualized approach for what the person is currently experiencing that can include certain steps, precautions, responses, and safety contacts. Safety plans may include a record, very important, a record of previous stalking attempts and police reports and contact list of friends, family members, and professional help and specific people that they can call on to get help. Or
So one of the good advantages of creating a safety plan in advance is because as things are going on and it's actually happening, you're not thinking about,
Right.
okay, so how do I, who should I, but if you already have it created, some of it becomes muscle memory. And then you also have the option where you can, take a look at it again and, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be logging this. So let me make sure I write a summary. So by creating a safety plan, it helps guide you through those situations as it's happening.
With that being said, with the summary and making notes and logging, like, you guys better have my number on speed dial. That's all I know. Okay, you two ladies. Because if you don't remember, then that other person that you called can.
Yes.
And
that's true. Yes.
Yeah, and that's why it's very important on your
Yes.
safety plan to have these specific friends or family members that you can trust by calling, out for help, because they'll help you with getting this information.
Because when you're in that fight or flight mode,
yes,
you're not going to be, you might not be able to actually remember everything.
Right.
And then afterwards you're going to deal with the guilt, like, well, I don't exactly remember this or that.
What was he wearing? What was he in? Or her?
Or I should have did this, or I should have did that.
Yep.
I need you to remember this because I'm freaking out right now.
Yes.
In the car
Or
and then
you're
just
hearing
say,
them, you're hearing your back door freaking open, or,
Yes.
or a window getting broken, or, so.
Or even, okay, this person has been parked, in front of my house, or 3 cars down, or the car is red, or they've been sitting since 5 o'clock, and then you could help that individual.
Right.
Make those notes. Yeah. So for a first person that is in that fight or flight mode, that is, it's hard to kind of just put all that together.
And this is going to help. This next tactic for helping implement those plans to help the victim, this is going to help a little bit more too. Is you can install security features in your livable environment. Install motion sensory lights outside. Keep them on at night. Change the locks on all the doors and make sure all the windows are locked securely. Make sure that they work. Assess for any hiding places and remove them, such as shrubs or bushes outside your windows. Don't allow any blind spots or where they could potentially hide or pop out at you, like when you're walking up to unlock your door at night. Make sure that you have
you have lighting.
Yes, or at least if there's a lot of people like my daughter, I always ask her, why don't you have your light on outside at night? And she's like, we don't like
people seeing us.
We like to see them before they see us. I'm like, oh no, I like to see who's coming up my doorstep.
Yeah.
Before anything.
And if your lights are off outside,
so
but you have your inside lights on, they're going to be able to see you anyway.
Sensory. Yeah. So if somebody and then they'll go off, or at least time it, or.
Yeah.
So. And if the doors do not have peepholes, install a peephole. Peepholes are very important.
Yes.
I believe, because.
Can't open your door without knowing who's there.
Girl, because then you're thinking, there was this apartment that I lived in Visalia. They didn't have peepholes. And I was freaking out. And I would always have to, little tiny, look out the blind.
Yeah.
And then they would see, it would be my mother. And I didn't want a visit from my mother at that time. And she's like, I seen the blind move, but it was just me trying to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just throwing a joke in there. But it is true, so, yeah.
So how to support victims of stalking?
Yes.
It can be frightening to be stalked. And reaching out for support can be difficult. So as a friend, you may feel like there is nothing you can do. Yet there are lots of ways to help someone who is being stalked. By being supportive, friend, and helping the person to reach out for help, you can make a difference in keeping them safe. So one is you can just listen to them. Because by being an active listener and reassuring what they're saying, they're going to feel more safe in really expressing how they feel and the reality of what's going on, and not just brushing it to the side, saying, no, I must just be overthinking it.
Right.
You know, so if a person is confused, sad, or hopeless, let the person discuss feelings or thoughts, ideas, and plans. It is not your job to take over and problem solve or do everything, but just listen. So if the individual does ask for help, offer it, but don't make it your job to solve all the problems.
Right.
Focus on showing your support by listening without interpreting.
And that also goes back to offering your friend or a coworker, you know, hey, here's my number, like I just said.
Yes.
You know, in case something does come up, call me, you know, or this is where I work, you know, if you really genuinely want to be there for you, you know. Definitely, it does say right here as well, to help that victim. It says, while the victim, to tell others, it says, while the victim may be nervous or afraid to tell friends and families about the stalking, it's important that people know. So, it's important. It might be embarrassing to you, oh, I'm getting stalked. It might be embarrassing, but here's where I could see where it's going to help tell others. The stalker may try to inadvertently get information from unsuspecting friends or family members of you.
Yes.
For this reason, it's important to alert those around you, the victim, as to the situation. Help the victim. So as a friend, here's the thing you can do. Help the victim come up with a list of people to talk to about the stalking. You may wish to help tell friends and family members and alert them what to do in case the stalker comes around you. Like, don't be providing photos, you know, or provide a photo of the stalker if you have one to your friends and family. Look at this person right here. Here's what they look like. If they come up to you, hey, I knew Nicole back in high school. I'm trying to get in touch with her.
Yeah.
Yeah, you haven't seen her.
Oh, well, let me call her.
Yeah, hey, do you happen to have, like, her address, or do you know where she works, or what car is she in?
Yes.
You know, that's why.
Which office is she working in?
No.
So that's why, you know, these are some good pointers for others to help your friends and family members.
Yes.
Yeah, I think Ashley has some other really good ones.
Okay, encourage seizing communication. Some victims downplay the stalking or try to be nice to make sure the stalker goes away. Encourage your friend to firmly and calmly let the stalker know the contact is not appreciated and must stop. Discuss the importance of not responding to text messages, emails, or phone calls. Encourage your friend to call police immediately if accidental contact occurs and the stalker begins to follow. Weird. I name calling, but I'm like, weird.
Yes.
Like, some individual just does not stop. Ew. For whatever reason.
Nope.
It's unhealthy.
It
Makes me
is.
have anxiety sitting
Psycho.
here.
Right.
Okay, encourage the person to change phone numbers. If the person is being harassed, encourage them to get a new unlisted number, save the old phone number, or hand it over to law enforcement to screen calls. Save any phone calls or voicemails the person leaves, and these can be used against the person to build a criminal case. So you trust the law enforcement to do their job, right?
You can, but these are like I said before, kind of like with domestic violence, you need a lot of proof, you know, you need some proof.
Right.
You need to log. That's why they're telling us. That's why they're giving us this information to help further this along, to make it more concrete, so that when they actually do catch this person in the act, hopefully to God it doesn't get to that point, you know, where they're
and if you file a
property,
restraining order,
that too,
then that's what I was
too.
watching this on that show.
Yes,
when you file a restraining order, now you have changed from just them being a stalker, but now it's a felony offense.
Yes. So there's a lot of.
Okay, and find safe locations. The victim may feel unsafe wherever they go. Help your friend find safe spots, highly populated areas, and accompany the person or switch off with other friends so your friend is not alone.
That's right. Come over here. Come over to my house, Ashley.
Yep, I know.
Linda, I'm going over. So
support and communicate.
Yes.
Okay, is that I think that's all. We're out
That was
of time.
awesome. That was
Yes.
awesome.
You ladies talk a lot.
Yeah,
That's good. That's the point.
I could go on and on about this subject, but
So yeah, the more research,
Yeah.
I was just amazed of really it changing my perspective about how serious this is. You know, and it's wonderful to know that conversation is going on. You know, because I experienced that with a partner.
Yes.
You know, that would sit in my job.
Yes.
And yeah, I'm like, okay, I'm embarrassed, but if I would have known, I might have been able to act sooner.
Yeah.
You know, but I was, I got to the
Proper
point.
authorities and all that.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes.
Let them know you're not playing.
To share that information, and that would have reinforced what I was already going through, but didn't know how to communicate and say, "Help me."
Mm-hmm.
So yes,
Another reach out for help type of tactic. Yes. So,
yes.
please stand by for an important message.
So we would like to thank CMAC.
And the Dream Again Project for helping us with this podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, how can we stop stalking before it starts? It is important for everyone to work together to end stalking. NISVS findings highlight the importance of early prevention and support efforts, which can include empowering everyone to understand, recognize, and address stalking, mobilizing men and boys as allies in prevention efforts, creating and supporting safe environments within relationships, schools, and communities through programs and policies that reduce risk and promote healthy relationships. What are the consequences? Women and men who were stalked felt fearful, threatened, or concerned for their safety or the safety of others as a result of the perpetrator's behavior. About 69% of females and 80% of male victims experience threats of physical harm during their lifetime. Research has shown a relationship between stalking victimization and complaints of pain and poor current health status, injury, and chronic disease. Studies have also shown that stalking can lead to psychological distress such as depression and post-traumatic stress disorder. Tips: ensure your own safety. Do not compromise your own safety when helping someone. Always keep a charged cell phone with you in case you need to make an emergency phone call. And don't communicate with the stalker yourself. Let law enforcement handle that. Okay, and that's it. Thank you.
Hey,
In my back.
in my back.
Pain.
Pain.
In my soul.
In my soul.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Battle sisters.
Battle sisters.
Here for you.
Here for you.
True and through.
True and through.
Left, right, leo.